Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. I'm going to bring you some more Arena from Season 11. These are just leftover clips, but even though the actual gameplay in terms of abilities might be a little bit outdated, the way you think about Arena and the sort of thought process behind what you do is still going to be there. And it's still helpful to have, you know, some commentary on Arena matches, if nothing else for some entertainment. So, this is TSG versus WLS. WLS is a very strong comp in terms of longer games. But as a result, you're a little bit squishier to teams that are geared for a really fast-paced but shorter game like TSG. So your goal against teams like this is to peel them as efficiently and best you can and try to survive their insane burst and short game to make them draw the game out to the longer game where eventually you might have an advantage. So what they're going to try to do is just Zerg our Shaman, and we're going to try to do our best to CC him. I'm actually able to catch this Paladin in a Focus Sphere on his Aura Mastery after he trinketed. So even though they're able to Zerg down our Shaman despite our best efforts of CC, we actually get a cross kill. So, right now, we're going to try to control the Paladin well enough to kill the Warrior. This game has changed now. We're going to try to peel as much as possible to now we have to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of our CC and our damage. So, we're going to control the Paladin best we can. Instead of pulling him, I throw him down here, just in case he faked, and the Warrior gets a freedom out of that throwdown. Warlock's getting really freaking low, but we're going to keep the fears on the Paladin, which leads the Warrior to get really, really low. He pops his shield wall. I probably didn't need to focus charge here, but I got a little bit antsy with my CC. But even with the focus charge, that probably wasn't necessary. We end up getting a kill, so it's a pretty epic game. This next game is going to be against the exact same team, TSG, same idea. I'm going to charge on the Warrior, try to keep him from getting my Shaman as long as possible. Luckily, I get a tentacle on him, which lets me get some nice early damage on him. Makes the Paladin throw him a freedom and starts popping his own cooldowns to try to heal harder. So I'm going to get a big fear on their team. I do fear the Warrior. I think I missed the Death Knight, but I get the Paladin. So the Paladin bubbles that fear. I get a Hungering Cold here, which prevents me from peeling for my team. And my Warlock is taking a little bit of damage. So I'm going to try to continue to do damage to the Warrior, but it's interesting because they're hitting my Warlock now. So what TSG can do is hit a squishy target like a Warlock, make the healer pop some cooldowns like a Spirit Link, and then immediately switch to the Shaman, which looks like what they're doing right now. So they're all stacking up, so I'm going to pop a Rex Storm in the middle of them, which leads the Warrior to get a bop, and my Shaman can get away for a little bit. I mean, we're all at pretty high health at the moment. I do get a full disarm on the Death Knight, which should limit a little bit of their damage here. But the Warrior's going to pop a wreck, and I cannot disarm that since I used that on the Death Knight. So the Warrior's going to Blaze Storm on top of my Shaman. We're still doing okay, but because we have to peel so much, we're not able to get out quite as much damage as we might like to have. Which is an interesting aspect of the way TSG and these sort of real in-your-face fast game comps work, is because if you don't peel them, you're going to die. But if you do all your efforts on peeling them, then you're not going to do any damage. We get a real nice CC chain on that Paladin, and huge damage on the Death Knight, which leads to yet another cross kill, because our Shaman died. So, I'm going to go balls to the wall here and pop Retail into this Warrior, get him low, kite him just a little bit so I can get a charge stun on him, and finish him off with a combination of Lock Dots and Beast Mode Warrior damage. So, that was a pretty intense game. And TSG can be really scary when they just Zerg your Shaman, but there are things that you can do. And even though this is from Season 11, like I said earlier, your mindset in terms of how you think and how you process arena matches and the different challenges that different comps present to you and your comp can still be improved by watching videos like this. And I'm happy to do commentary on arena videos, so I like doing arena commentary. So, in this match is up against a Kitty Cleave with a Shaman. I'm going to charge on the Warrior. He wants to pop Retail, so I'm going to pop Retail right into him. I have a Colossus Smash Off on him. I'm going to charge, focus for the Shaman. He's just going to die. I talked about WLS being a sort of longer game comp. That doesn't mean that you can't put out insane damage if you let it block just free cast, Demon Soul Dot, and maybe even just 1 CC when the Warrior gets low. I think we caught this team a little bit by surprise, but one of the good things we did is we did not let this Warrior get to my Warlock. I charged him, made sure that their team was going to hit me, engage with me, rather than my squishier Warlock, and it ended up working out really well for us. So, this is up against a team I like to call Hogwarts Cleave, just because they're all freaking wizards. They're all wearing cloth robes and all that, so, you know, you get it. But anyway, so I'm going to start off on the Warlock here, because if he has to port away and stuff, that's fine. It's still not as bad as trying to hit a Fire Mage, and they're always proccing blazing speed and stuff. But that means that they're going to pop cooldowns on me. I'm going to Blade Storm so I can move a little bit, get on top of this Warlock, maybe even cleave his pet down, because once that pet dies, the Warlock is going to be taking tons of extra damage, and as WLS, consistent heavy pressure is one of your specialties, because Warrior damage and Lock damage really synergize well in terms of that consistent heavy damage, complemented by burst during cooldowns, of course. But anyway, I'm going to sit on this Warlock. I'm pushing him in kind of a weird position. I'm communicating with my healer to make sure that I'm not getting too far out of position. Like that. Like, I'm focus charge the healer, which might not have been the best idea, but it ends up being okay because I can heroically back into position. And especially since that focus charge, focus fear did get a trinket out of the priest and a pain suppression on the Warlock. So we're in really good position here. Since they're also squishy, any of them are really a kill target, so I'm just going to switch onto this mage because I can hit him. The Warlock ports away, which definitely makes me just want to hit the mage instead. As WLS and as a warrior in general, you definitely want to just make sure that you can always hit something. The mage is going to go back behind the pillar, so I'm just going to switch to the Warlock, who has now come back out again. Even though we're not chasing and killing the target that we have the lowest at the moment, it is good to spread out your damage. As WLS, you're doing damage to the entire team. You're causing the entire team to rot. So switching to a target that might have higher health is not a bad idea at all. It makes the healer have to heal that guy instead of healing the one that's already low, and you let the entire team just continually drop lower and lower and lower. So their team's starting to pop cooldown, so I'm going to hop behind my pillar and make sure that we don't all die to combustion, because that can happen. But since we survived the combustion, I'm going to run back in, hit the mage because he's the one who's out right now. So get some damage up on him, let my Warlock just free cast while I'm up in their face. Because if they're having to hit me, then my Warlock can keep doing his thing without having to worry about taking too much damage, or maybe even not even eating counter spells or CC. So, the Warlock's going to jump down again, and I'm going to follow him. I'm going to keep doing damage to this guy. Their whole team is about 50% now. Our beautiful WLS strat is working wonderfully. With this team running out of health and running out of cooldowns, we're in prime position to deal a killing blow to these guys. So I'm going to charge in, throw down the priest, pop Wreck Bladestorm, and just shred both of these guys, getting an easy kill on a very, very depleted Hogwarts Cleave team. So that game was a lot of fun, just like a lot of these WLS matches are. I love seeing a team where they're all at 50%, 40%, 30%, just picking a target without a trinket, throwing them down and killing them, especially when it's the healer. We did such a good job layering our CC with tons and tons of damage so that Priest could not afford to sit in CC and had to blow his trinket earlier on. So, when we did want to charge in there, get him in a throwdown and go for the kill, we were able to do that and did so wonderfully. WLS is by far one of my favorite comps to play, or at least it was in Cataclysm, for just that reason. There's so much that you can do, even if it is a bit of a longer game, it's so much fun to set up your CC, set up your damage, and really just watch a team just deconstruct in front of you. Alright, so this next game is going to be up against the KFC with a Shaman. This is one of those really scary and bursty teams that's probably not going to hit the Shaman, but can definitely just shred our Warlock if we're not careful. I get a little bit out of position and I'm unable to eat that trap for my Shaman. Even though I did try to fear the Hunter, he still got the trap. So, we see a Hex coming off, and we get one Shear on it, and we get one Counterspell on it. So the Shaman has been wasting a lot of time trying to Hex instead of healing. So his Hunter has gotten really, really scarily low, and I'm going to Wreck Storm in that link, dealing a lot of damage to their entire team. Because of this, I'm just going to sit on this Hunter. A lot of times it is a good idea to peel a warrior off of your Warlock, but right now since the Hunter is so low, if I stay on him, he won't be able to do any damage or any of the CC that KFC needs to be effective. So he's going to kite really far away behind his Shaman, and that's a little bit too far away for me. So I'm going to start hitting the warrior instead, getting him low, which makes him try to run away. The Shaman's trying his best to keep up with our damage, but I'm going to throw the Hunter down right in the middle of the map, deal tons of damage to him. He's going to try to deter in hopes of surviving, but I'm going to focus charge the Shaman and let my Warlock's Dots and Drain Soul finish off that Hunter while I hit the Shaman. Even if the Hunter did survive, I was right on top of the Shaman to pummel, and I was already dealing damage to him in case that we wanted to switch after that. Kinda would have taken a miracle for them to survive at that point. So, we did a great job controlling their damage, controlling their CC, and really doing a lot of damage of our own. That's why I love WLS. Speaking of WLS, this is a mirror match versus another WLS. I've played against Baba Ganoush and Frosh before, so I know that they're both really good players. They usually play a lot of RLS, but maybe after getting beat by us, they wanted to give WLS a try. But anyway, our objective on here is definitely to be the more aggressive team. I'm going to charge right in on their Warlock, because I'm willing to make it a situation where we have to see what each team's warrior can do. I try to reflect the Hex, can't quite get it to go off in time, but already I've gotten a Hex, and their warrior is heroically left across the map to try to peel me off of their team. So, we seem to already have an advantage in terms of the early pressure. I try to throw it on the lock, he trinkets it, but that's already a trinket out of the Warlock. And I'm just going to pop cooldowns in this Warlock and see what happens. Their warrior's chopping at my lock, I'm chopping at their lock. I've got him down to about half health, and we're looking pretty good so far. Tons of damage coming out from our team, so I'm going to pop Recklessness, and I'm going to Bladestorm on top of everybody. I'm going to try to kill this pet, maybe even get a little bit of damage on the Warlock. The Warlock ports away, so I'm going to kill his pet, and I'm going to switch to this warrior, who is all the way on our side of the map, because they're actually starting to hit our Shaman. And a switch to the Shaman is a very scary thing, because that'll be, as we've talked about before, if the healer has to heal himself, then the entire rest of the team is going to be rotting from the Warlock dots. So I've done a pretty good job controlling their Warlock so far, but I do not want them to start getting pressure with the Warlock dots. So I'm going to pummel his Unstable Affliction, root him in the middle of the map, and try to keep my damage up here. In these mirror matches, more than ever, you want to apply the principles we were talking about earlier, limiting their other team's damage, limiting their CC, while maximizing your own damage and your CC. So, I'm going to get this Shaman in a Focus Charge, Focus Sphere, which he's going to Tremor, and I'm going to throw it on the Warlock in the middle of the map. Meanwhile, their Warrior is all the way across the map, trying to beat up my Shaman and my Warlock. My Warlock's getting pretty low, so this is the time where I'm going to communicate with my team, ask them if I need to come heal, which I will come heal if I need to. My Warlock jumps off to try to catch a few more heals before he takes any more damage. At this time, their Warlock is going to push into our team, get a big Howl of Terror, and I'm going to start hitting the Warrior. We've built a lot of pressure up on this Warrior, and the Shaman is standing right next to him, so I'm going to be able to get a focused pummel on the Shaman, and the Warrior is going to heroic leap away. I'm going to chase him, because we've got him pretty low, and I feel like we might even be able to get a kill on this guy. We've got him a little bit on the ropes, which allows our Shaman to land a full Hex on their Shaman, which he trinkets. So, their Shaman's trinket is out of the game right now, and we are definitely on the offensive. We are building tons of pressure against this team. I am chopping this Warlock to pieces, get a Focus Charge, Focus Throwdown on the Shaman, which he has to eat it full. Meanwhile, the Warrior's still sitting at about 50% as well. So the Warlock is getting tons of damage from me, their Warrior's taking tons of damage from my Warlock, and their Shaman is trying his best to keep up. At this point, our team is not taking very much damage, so there's no reason for me to hit the Warrior. The Warlock is squishier. Even though he has an Earth Shield, I'm able to deal tons of damage to him, especially with the Tentacle out. At this point, our damage just adds up, and it ends up being way too much for this Shaman to handle, so the Warlock goes down. Awesome game, excellent mirror match, and we did a great job bullying that other WLS out of the arena. Alright, so the last game in this video is once again against our buddies, the Hogwarts Cleave. The idea is going to be exactly the same, but since the map is a little bit different, we might end up having to play it positionally a little bit different. Once again, I'm going to try to go in on this Warlock, get out a tons of damage on him since he can't get away as easily, and limit his UA casts, so that my Shaman can more easily dispel all the dots that are going to be on my team, and all the CC that these guys can spam. He fakes my pummel, but I throw him down. He trinkets that throwdown, and is finally able to get his first UA on the team. While he's been struggling to get this first UA out on the team, we've been able to drop him down to 50% health, and even get a little bit of damage up on his Priest. He's going to go in the room, and I'm actually going to chase him here. It is kind of dangerous to go in on a team like this, which can pop a combustion and blow you up. But my Shaman says he's got me, so I'm going to go in here. Risk-reward analysis says go. I'm going to Rex Storm on this squishy Priest and his Warlock. I'm going to try to Focus Charge, Focus Fear the Priest, but he does have Fear Ward, but I do fear the Warlock out of the room so I can continue hitting him safely. So it's times like that where it's really important to communicate with your healer. The Lock dots and the Fire Mage dots are really starting to stack up on me, so I do need to start to be mindful of my positioning, because one CC and a combustion and I'm dead. At this point, I'm going to run away because I did get combusted, but luckily my Shaman's able to get it in one dispel. Get owned, Hogwarts Cleave. So, now that the combustion's out of the game and we're continuing to build our pressure, the Priest is at half health, the Fire Mage is at half health. Sounds like a good time to hit the Lock, huh? Let's have him join the party. So I'm going to hit the Lock. They're both coming way out of their room, trying to get a little bit offensive on our team, maybe even push up a little bit for some CC. So a full Polymorph does land on my Shaman. My health immediately drops to about half health. So we've been doing a pretty good job against these guys, but they are not a joke. Even with half health, I see this Lock at half health as well. I'm pretty sure I can get in there and get the kill. I do. Grab the kill on the Warlock and immediately hop out of the room for a nice welcoming Spirit Link. So another good game against these guys. Our consistent damage and the fact that they're all clothies really lets me just hit whoever I want, and as long as I'm aware of my positioning and communicate well with my healer about combustion and all the dots ticking, we're able to do just fine against this team. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I've been posting a lot of BG videos recently, and honestly, 3v3 Arena is my complete favorite thing to do in World of Warcraft, but since the Arena season's been down, my Arena has been limited. But if you guys enjoy these videos, I have a couple more Season 11 clips that I'd be happy to bring out for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!